All right, so on this video, we're going to look at geometric sequences. So a sequence is geometric if the ratio of consecutive terms is always the same. So what this means, in other words, we're going to use multiplying or dividing or division is used to get from one term to the next. Okay, so instead of arithmetic sequences, which was our first section here that we were doing, or the second section technically of chapter 9, in arithmetic sequences, we're adding or subtracting. So if I go 1, 2, 3, I'm always adding 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, and I can continue that pattern. I can either add or subtract. Well, in a geometric sequence, we're multiplying or dividing. So I would go like 2, 4, 8, because 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. The next one would be 16, because 8 times 2 is 16, times 2 would be 32, right? So I can keep going with that multiplication or division, but it's the same thing I'm multiplying each time. So to find a specific term in a geometric sequence, we can use the following formula. So we have an, so this is the nth term, and that's just the term number we're choosing, equals a1, this is the first term, times the common ratio, that's r, raised to the n minus 1, so the term number minus 1. So again, we're just coming over here. So n is the term number being found, right? So if I ask what's the 100th term, n is now 100. If I ask you what's the 1000th term, n is now 1000. So this is the one that we're going to change to kind of manipulate the formula, figure out which term number, whichever one we're going for. The first term is not going to change, but sometimes we do have to find it. So this is just the first term in the sequence. And r, that's our common ratio. That's what am I multiplying or dividing by? All right, so let's go ahead and test this out. So find the nth term of the geometric sequence whose common ratio is 3/2 and whose first term is 7. So I already know what term number I'm going for. It's the nth term, or the 9th term. I know what my first term is because they told me my first term is 7, so that's a1. And then my common ratio, well, they told me that too. That's 3/2. So they gave me everything that I need here to find the 9th term, to go ahead and use the formula that we just used. So remember, we're plugging it in just like this. So the first term, that goes in the first spot here, common ratio, and then we're going to have the term number minus 1 as our exponent. Okay, so remember I was trying to raise that a little bit when I wrote this formula, so it's raised up just a little bit there. So first, let's simplify this exponent, 9 minus 1. We get 8. And then we're going to apply this exponent to both the numerator and the denominator of the fraction. Okay, we don't just apply it to one or the other, but we apply it to both. That's kind of our simplifying the parentheses right now. So we do get some nice big numbers. We get 6,561 over 256. Now I can multiply that by 7. And remember, when you multiply fractions, you're just going to multiply across the top and divide with the bottom. With this one, you do want to be careful. I'm going to give you a little note over here. Alex leaves it just like this. Even though that looks a little bit funny, that's a very large number, 45,927 over 256. They do not give me any rounding instructions at all on here, so do not do any rounding. If you do this division and you end up with a decimal that you have to round, stop and go back to the fraction. Okay, because this is exactly how Alex leaves it when I was looking at the answer key. They just go ahead and leave it this nice giant fraction. Even though it's improper, they don't mind. So just keep that in mind. It's some of the quirky things, a little bit about Alex and how they accept answers, and especially with the rounding. If you're not given any instructions, don't do it. So that is using a geometric sequence, a rule for a geometric sequence. I hope that helped, and I will see you on the next video.